covers the key of G sharp minor. Let's figure out our key signature so we know what notes are in the key. So every time we try and find the key signature of a minor key, we need to compare it to its relative major. To find the relative major key from a minor, we go up 3 half steps. So starting from G sharp, 1 half step is A, the second one is going to be an A sharp, and then the third one is going to be a B. So that means that the key of B major has the same key signature as the key of G sharp minor. So since we know our circle of fifths, we should know that B major has 5 sharps. Or another way to think about it is all the black keys on the keyboard. 5 black keys, 5 sharps, right? So in order, those sharps are F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. All right, one more time. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. These are the 5 sharps in the key of G sharp minor. Now let's build our tonic triad. To build our tonic triad, we start on the tonic. So that comes from the name of the scale. The tonic of G sharp minor is a G sharp. All we gotta do is add our skips to build the chord. So G sharp, a skip above that is a B, and then a skip above that is a D, but because of our key signature, that note is a D sharp. So the 3 notes in our tonic triad are G sharp, B, and D sharp. We are going to put our right hand in our tonic triad root position. So that means a thumb over G sharp, third finger over B, and pinky over D sharp. Because of where the black keys are in this shape, we want to keep our hand in on the keyboard. We want to avoid moving in and out between our shapes and instead moving across the keyboard. So let's keep it in that root position. Now to invert our chord, the G sharp is going to go to the top with our pinky, second finger to D sharp, and thumb over B. My hand moves across the keys and lands in the shape. Now the B that's on the bottom goes to the top, so I have a B with my pinky, a third finger over G sharp, and a thumb over D sharp. And now I move up one more time, so the D sharp that's at the bottom is at the top, and I am in a root position, triad. Now we're gonna go back down. So the D sharp that's at the top goes right back to the bottom. 1, 3, and 5 over D sharp, G sharp, and B. And we're gonna move down one more time, so the B that's at the top of the chord goes to the bottom. 1, 2, and 5 over B, D sharp, and G sharp. And then we move across one more time into our root position, G sharp, B, and D sharp. Same thing for the left hand, so G sharp, B, and D sharp, tonic triad root position. Remember, move across the keyboard. So now my G sharp is on top, my thumb plays that, third finger's on D sharp, pinky is on B. Now we need to invert the triad again, so the B that's on the bottom goes to the top. Thumb on B, second finger on G sharp, pinky, fifth finger on D sharp. Now we invert the chord one more time, moving across, and we're right back where we started. G sharp, B, and D sharp. Now we're going to go back down. So the D sharp that's at the top goes to the bottom. Pinky on D sharp, second finger on G sharp, thumb on B. We move down again. So the B that's at the top goes to the bottom. Pinky, third finger on D sharp, thumb on G sharp. And now we move it down one more time, so the G sharp that's at the top goes to the bottom, and we are back in root position. G sharp, B, and D sharp. Now we're going to build the primary chords in the key of G sharp minor. Make sure you are comfortable with that key signature because, like I said earlier, there are 5 sharps. So we are going to build the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. Our tonic, subdominant, and dominant chords. We've already built the 1, the tonic, G sharp, B, and D sharp. Now we have to find the 4th note of the scale to build our subdominant chord. So going up from G sharp, we have an A sharp, then we have a B, and then we have a C sharp. So the 4th note of the scale is C sharp, and this is the root of our subdominant chord. Let's stack our thirds. A third above C sharp is an E, and a third above that E is a G, but because of our key, that note is a G sharp. Now to build the dominant chord, so that's built off the 5th note. We go 1 note up from C sharp, and we land on a D sharp. So now we need to stack our thirds. So a third above D sharp is going to be not just an F, but because of our key signature, an F sharp. A third above that F sharp is going to be an A, but because of our key signature, it's an A sharp. And then a third above that is going to be a C, but C sharp because of the key signature. So we got 4 sharps here, right? One more time. D sharp, F sharp, A sharp, and C sharp. Now, the most important step, because we are in a minor key, we have to add the leading tone to our chord to make it the dominant 7th chord. So the leading tone is always written a half step below the root of the scale. So we're in the key of G sharp minor, right? A half step below G sharp is a G, but we don't write it as a G because look back at your chord. We don't have a G written down here. Instead, we have to express that half step relationship as a step below on the staff. So we have to find a way to make this F expressed as a G. So that's why we use the double sharp. So a half step below G sharp is F double sharp, and that's why this accidental comes into play. So many times students are like, why wouldn't they just use a G? It's because it's built from these principles of scale and chord construction. So the 4 notes in our dominant 7th chord, D sharp, F double sharp, A sharp, and C sharp. Now that we got the chords, we're ready to play them on the keyboard. And now for our chord progression. So we're going to put our right hand back in our root position triad, G sharp, B, and D sharp. We're going to put 1, 3, and 5 over that. We're going to press it down. Now our hand opens up into our subdominant chord, C sharp minor. So the G sharp, thumb anchors here, 3rd finger goes to C sharp, and pinky to E. Now we're going to move it right back down to our root position tonic triad, G sharp, B, and D sharp, 1, 3, and 5. Now the thumb moves down to what is written in this key as an F double sharp, also known as a G, but it's very important that you know that this is an F double sharp. My 4th finger is over C sharp, and my pinky is over D sharp. This is our dominant 7 chord, and now we're going back to our tonic triad, G sharp, B, and D sharp, 1, 3, and 5. Now for the left hand. Same thing, G sharp, B, and D sharp, 5, 3, and 1. We're going to press this down. Our pinky stays anchored over G sharp. 2nd finger is already over C sharp, so we just need to move our thumb to E for our C sharp minor chord, our subdominant in the key of G sharp minor. Now we're going to move our chord back to root position, G sharp, B, and D sharp. Now the pinky slides down to that F double sharp. It's a G, but it's written as F double sharp. 2nd finger over C sharp, thumb over D sharp. This is our dominant 7. And then we go back to our 1 chord, our tonic triad. G sharp, B, and D sharp. 5, 3, and 1. Last is the Tonic Triad Arpeggio. We know these three notes, G sharp, B, and D sharp. We just need to make sure that as we play the next exercise, we pay attention to the starting position and the open hand shape. We need to keep our hands in to play arpeggios. All right, we're gonna start with our second finger on G sharp. So we're gonna press that down. Now our thumb is going to B, and as we play this B, the hand opens up into the next two notes. So my second finger is on D sharp, and my fourth finger is on G sharp. So this is our open hand shape for arpeggio. All right, so let's go back to our G sharp. Second finger on G sharp, thumb goes to B, hand opens up, second finger to D sharp, fourth finger to G sharp. As that's happening, my thumb tucks across, thumb goes to B, second finger to G sharp, fourth finger is already on G sharp. Now hand stays still, so second finger still over D sharp, thumb plays B, cross over again, fourth finger to G sharp, slide into the next two notes, second finger on D sharp, thumb on B, and because it's the end, second finger to G sharp. Now the left hand, second finger over G sharp, thumb over B. So as I play the first note with my second finger, next note with my thumb, I cross over my fourth finger to D sharp, and this sets my open hand position. So I have my second finger over G sharp and my thumb over B. Play these three together. This is our open chord shape. So let's go back to G sharp. Remember, open up your hand into this shape every time you play. Second finger to G sharp, thumb over B, fourth finger crosses over to D sharp, my next two notes slide into place, second finger over G sharp, thumb over B, fourth finger to D sharp, and I slide my second finger into that G sharp. Now we're going back down. So fourth finger still over D sharp, thumb tucks underneath as we play to B, second finger to G sharp, fourth finger's already on D sharp, thumb tucks under one more time to B, and second finger opens to G sharp. That is a wrap for the key of G sharp minor. I really hope you learned something great and awesome from this video to help you on your piano journey. Definitely feed the algorithm on the YouTube, so like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you appreciate the content on the channel, please check out the link to the shop below. Trying to slang some more of these tees. I think you would like it because I know I definitely do. I'm always adding new designs and different types of merch, so make sure you check it out. And above all else though, keep practicing. You got this. So keep practicing and stay powerful, y'all.